All right, so you know Sydney, right? Beautiful beaches, amazing surf. But what happens when that pristine coastline is, well, invaded by mysterious debris?
Yeah, not exactly the kind of souvenir you want to bring home from a beach trip.
Definitely not. We're talking about strange balls washing ashore. First, they were black back in October. Now they're gray and white, popping up all over the place, forcing beach closures. I mean, imagine planning a relaxing day by the water, and you're met with this.
It's definitely not the beach day you'd be hoping for, and what's really concerning is that authorities seem to be stumped. No one seems to know where this stuff is coming from or even what it is exactly, at least not with the new gray and white ones.
Right. It's kind of like a real-life mystery novel unfolding on these iconic beaches, and today we're diving deep into it. We've got all the latest info, eyewitness accounts, and expert opinions.
We're going to try and untangle this whole beach ball saga, so strap in because this is a weird one.
Seriously weird. Let's start with a little timeline here. So, as I mentioned, it all kicked off back in October when these black spheres started appearing on beaches, like the famous Bondi Beach.
Yeah, Bondi, Manly, even some reports from DY. People were understandably freaked out.
Totally. And can you blame them? I mean, who knows what this stuff is? The mayor of the northern beaches, Sue Hines, even said they have, quote, no idea what's leaking or dropping to cause this. That's a pretty unsettling statement, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. It's one thing to have some seaweed or driftwood wash up, but these strange balls, it's like something out of a sci-fi movie. And when those black balls were analyzed, well, the results were even weirder.
Okay, spill the beans. What were they made of?
Well, it wasn't just simple tar like some initially thought. They found a whole cocktail of stuff in there. Cooking oil, soap scum, even traces of medication and drugs.
Whoa, wait. Drugs? Like what kind of drugs are we talking about here?
They didn't specify exactly, but it just adds another layer of mystery to this whole thing.
Right. I mean, it's not just some random pollution. It suggests a possible link to residential areas,
Yeah.
right? Like, where are all these everyday items coming from?
Exactly. And it gets even more interesting because some scientists started pointing the finger at, get this, fatbergs.
Okay, hold on. Fatberg. That sounds kind of gross. What exactly are we talking about here?
It's pretty much as gross as it sounds. Imagine a massive blob of fat, oil, and grease congealing in the sewer system, forming a kind of underground monster. And it's not just kitchen grease. Things like wet wipes, which don't break down like toilet paper, also contribute to these things.
Oh, yuck. I never thought about wet wipes causing that kind of problem.
Yeah.
But so, how do these fatbergs connect to the beach balls?
Well, the theory is that these fatbergs might be breaking off and somehow making their way into the ocean, eventually washing up on the beaches as these strange balls. I mean, think about it. Fatbergs have all sorts of stuff trapped inside them, right? Cooking oil, soap, who knows what else.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. But here's the catch. Sydney Water, the folks responsible for the city's water system, they're saying there's no problem on their end. So if it's not coming from the sewers, then where on earth is it coming from?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And to make things even more perplexing, we now have these new gray and white balls showing up.
Right, and no one seems to know what those are made of yet. It's the same stuff as the black balls, just weathered or bleached by the sun, or is it something entirely different? It's like the plot just thickened.
Absolutely. And this whole lack of information is causing a lot of anxiety, especially among local politicians.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Greens politician Sue Higginson has been pretty vocal about this. She's not just concerned about the mystery itself, but also about the potential risks to public health and safety.
Yeah, she's basically saying, hey, we have this weird stuff washing up on our beaches, and no one seems to know what it is or where it's coming from. We need answers, and we need them now. She's even specifically called out the Environmental Protection Agency for not providing enough information.
And it's not just a matter of figuring out what these balls are. It's about the bigger picture, right? Like, what does this say about the health of our oceans?
Exactly. Sydney's beaches are world famous. They're a huge part of the city's identity and a major tourist attraction. If people start to feel like the water isn't safe, it could have a massive impact on the local economy.
Not to mention the environmental impact. I mean, who knows what kind of damage this debris could be doing to marine life and ecosystems. It's a pretty unsettling thought.
No kidding. And then there's the public health aspect. If this stuff is contaminated and people are swimming in it or even just touching it, who knows what the long-term consequences might be?
Right. It's not just about a few closed beaches. It's a much bigger issue. So where does that leave us? We have a recurring mystery on our hands, authorities are scratching their heads, and there's a whole lot of potential for serious consequences.
It definitely leaves us with more questions than answers. What could be the source of this debris? And what does it tell us about the overall health of our coastal waters? Is this a sign of something bigger, a problem we've been ignoring for too long?
Lots to ponder. And if you want to explore this further, I definitely encourage you to do some digging of your own. Start by looking up images of these beach balls. You have to see them to believe them. They're pretty wild.
Yeah, and if you're interested in the political side of things, Sue Higginson's statement is definitely worth a read. It really lays out the concerns and the questions that are still unanswered.
Absolutely. And if you want to really get a sense of what those fatbergs are all about, well, brace yourself and search for images online. They're truly monstrous and might make you think twice about what you flush down the toilet.
Let's just say you'll never look at your plumbing the same way again.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay away from those beach balls.
And maybe think twice before flushing those wet wipes.
Definitely good advice.